Hey, future top scorers, welcome back to the channel that turns exam stress into exam success. If you are aiming for that grade A star in Cambridge Business A Level Paper 4 Business Strategy, then you have just landed in the right place. In today's video, we are diving deep into exactly what you need to master Paper 4, from understanding the command terms to structuring high impact answers and avoiding the traps that pull students down. Whether it is SWOT, ANSOF, or investment appraisal, I'll break it down with examples, examiner tips, and some golden hacks that your textbook never told you. So grab your pen, hit that like button to show some love, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon because this is just one of many exam winning guides coming your way. Let's make business strategy your strongest paper yet and get you one step closer to that A star. Let's go. Alright, guys, let's start with the basics. What is paper 4 business strategy all about? First things first, the paper is worth 40 marks and you get 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete it. That's not a lot of time. So knowing exactly what's expected can give you a huge edge. You will be given a realistic business scenario. Think of it like a case study. There are just two questions, but don't be fooled. These are big questions, often broken into parts, and they test your depth of understanding, not just how much theory you can memorize. The focus here is on strategy. That means you are not just identifying problems or defining terms, you are being asked to develop, analyze, and evaluate strategies that a business might take. It's all about decision making at a high level. Imagine you are sitting in the boardroom as a consultant advising top management. For example, you might get a question like, should company X expand into a new market using a joint venture or go solo with a direct investment? Here you are expected to apply strategic tools like ANSOF metrics, Porter's five forces, or investment appraisal methods, and most importantly, evaluate the best option with clear justification. Tip: don't just write what the business could do. Focus on what it should do and explain why using evidence from the case and your own analysis. So, in short, if paper 3 was about operations and decisions at a departmental level, paper 4 is all about seeing the bigger picture, the long-term game plan of a business. Stick around because we are going to unpack exactly how to tackle each question, manage your time, and structure those A star level answers. Now, before we jump into answer writing, let's quickly understand what the examiners are really looking for in paper 4, and that's these four magic letters: AO1, AO2, AO3, and AO4. AO1 is all about your knowledge. This means you need to know your strategic level theories, models, and definitions. Think about tools like SWOT, ANSOF metrics, Porter's five forces, and decision trees. But don't just name drop these. Show you understand them. Example, if you mention the ANSOF metrics, make sure you know what market penetration or product development is actually mean in a real business setting. AO2 is application. This is where you take that theory and apply it directly to the case study in the question. You have got to make it feel like your answer was written just for that business. Let's say the business in the case is a local bakery thinking of expanding online. Don't just talk about e-commerce in general. Talk about how a small bakery might need to invest in packaging, delivery logistics, or partner with food delivery apps. AO3 is analysis. This is where you show your brain power, break down the situation, connect the dots, show how and why one thing affects another. Example, if costs go up because of expansion, what's the likely impact on cash flow or competitiveness? If they choose a joint venture, what risks might that bring? And finally, AO4 is evaluation, the real deal. This is where the top marks come from. You weigh up the options and give a balanced judgment, not just an opinion. Be realistic. Consider short term versus long term effects and always justify your recommendation. A great tip. Use phrases like this strategy is effective because, or however, it depends on whether, or in the long run, this could lead to. If you want those top band scores, you need to hit all four AOs, not just define stuff, but really think like a business strategist. Okay, team, this part is super important because strategy isn't like the other parts of the syllabus. So, what makes strategy different? First up, strategy is holistic. That means you are not just focusing on one small part of the business like marketing or finance, you have to look at the whole picture. It's not just about saying, oh, they should lower prices or they should advertise more. Instead, it's about how different parts of the business connect together and how one decision affects everything else, like marketing, operations, HR, and finance all at once. Example, imagine a clothing brand decides to go global. Sure, that's marketing, but what about the supply chain, the cost of expansion, the need to hire staff overseas, managing cultural differences in product design? That's what we mean when we say strategy is interconnected. Every move affects other departments. Second, you have to evaluate the entire combination of actions, not just each part on its own standalone. It's like baking a cake. The ingredients matter, but what really counts is how well they work together. And here's a mindset shift. Don't be a textbook writer. Be a consultant. Think like someone who's been hired to help the business solve a major challenge or make a big decision. Ask yourself, what would I tell the CEO? What's the best course of action based on the whole situation? What are the risks if this goes wrong? That's the thinking examiners want to see. Practical, well balanced, realistic advice rooted in strong analysis. So remember, paper 4 is your chance to show that you can think like a business strategist, not just a business student. Let's talk about how to prepare smartly for paper 4 because strategy isn't just about writing long answers. It is about thinking deeply and linking things clearly. Here are some tips that can really help you stand out. First, revise the key areas of business: operations, finance, marketing, and human resource. But here's the trick. Don't revise them in isolation. Think about how do they connect or how can they be integrated or interconnected. For example, if a business wants to launch a new product, marketing needs to promote it. Operations must make it efficiently. HR needs to train or hire staff. Finance has to fund it. In paper 4, you will often be asked to recommend a strategy, and unless you consider how each department will be affected, you will lose those top evaluation marks. Second, practice using data. The case study always comes with a timeline and appendices. These are gold. Look for key data, dates, trends, figures, and any contradictions. The best answers always refer to the data, not just theory. For instance, if sales have been declining for 3 years and suddenly the CEO wants to open a new branch, question that. Does the data support expansion? Is it financially sustainable? Third, know your strategic concepts. You don't just need to define Kaizen, total quality management, or lean production. you need to understand how they help build better strategy. Example, if a business adopts Kaizen, which is continuous improvement, how does that affect long-term efficiency? What does it mean for staff motivation and training needs? Or if they apply total quality management, how does that impact their brand image, cost control, and customer satisfaction? These aren't just buzzwords. In paper 4, using them in the right context is what makes your answer shine. So remember, connect your departments, use your data, and bring your strategy tools to life. That's how you get into the top band. Alright, so now you have prepared well, but how do you actually write a paper 4 answer that gets you to the top grade? Let's break it down. Step 1. Define key terms. Start by defining any important strategic term only if it helps your answer. It's not a must, but it is a smart move if it adds clarity. For example, if the question talks about lean production, you could quickly say lean production is a strategy to reduce waste and improve efficiency across operations. That's it, short and sweet. Then move on to the real stuff, the analysis. Don't talk about everything. Pick a few critical strategies or issues. Many students make the mistake of trying to write about everything that they know. Instead, zoom in on what's most important for that specific case. Example, if the business is facing rising cost and falling quality, focus on cost control, quality management, and perhaps employee training. Don't start writing about social media campaigns unless it is relevant to the problem. Step 3. Link your ideas. Don't treat them like separate essays. Paper 4 loves interconnected analysis. Let's say you are discussing quality improvement. Then ask yourself, how will it affect costs? Will it reduce waste, the lean? What does that mean for inventory levels? This shows the examiner you understand strategy holistically, not in silos. Step 4. End with strong evaluation, not just yes or no. Top band answers don't just make a recommendation, they consider different perspectives. Use the classic it depends approach. Will the strategy work in the short term and long term? Are there risks or better alternatives? Does the company have the resources to pull this off? Example, while lean production may reduce cost, it depends on whether the workforce is trained enough to implement it successfully. Otherwise, it could lead to confusion and even more wastage. So, to recap, define if helpful, focus on what matters most, link your analysis, evaluate with balance, follow this approach, and you are thinking like a top level consultant, not just a student trying to tick boxes. Now, let's talk about something super important, time management. In paper 4, you have 1 hour and 15 minutes to answer two big questions. That means spend about 25 to 30 minutes per question. And yes, that includes planning time. Don't skip that part. A quick 3 to 5 minute plan can help you stay focused and avoid going off track. Here's a helpful mindset shift. You don't need to write everything you know. This paper is about quality and not quantity. Let's say you are answering a question about whether a business should relocate its factory to a new country. Don't just list 10 points like cost, culture, staff, logistics, etc. Instead, pick 3 to 4 key factors and go deep into them. For example, how much will relocation save them in the long term? Will staff need retraining? How might the supply chain be affected? This depth of thinking is what earns you top marks, not long essays filled with surface level comments. And one more tip, don't start writing immediately. Just like a builder doesn't start hammering without a blueprint, you shouldn't start writing without a quick plan. Use a simple structure. Identify the key issue, decide your 2 to 3 main points, note how you will evaluate each one. This makes your answer sharp, focused, and easy for the examiner to follow. So remember, 25 to 30 minutes per question, depth over breadth, plan before you write, manage your time like a strategist, and you will write like one too. Alright, this slide is gold. This is straight from what examiners want to see in your answers, especially for those top AO4 marks, that's evaluation. By the way, let's break it down. First, contextual judgment, top marks. Anyone can write general pros and cons, but if you want top level evaluation, you need to make your judgment fit the case study. For example, relocating to another country might reduce labor costs is too generic. Instead, say, given the company's reliance on skilled labor and its current customer base in Europe, relocating to a lower cost country may reduce labor expenses but risk losing quality and brand reputation. That's contextual judgment, and it makes a big difference. Second, don't evaluate points in isolation. It's not about saying marketing is good, operation is bad. Instead, look at how they connect. For example, launching a new product may increase revenue, but only if operations can handle the scale and marketing can build demand. Without those working together, the strategy could fail. That's showing strategic thinking. And paper 4 is all about that. Third, be selective plus justify clearly. You don't need to cover everything. In fact, less is more if it is well explained. Pick the most relevant 2 or 3 factors for the scenario and justify why they matter more than others. Fourth, make a clear judgment. Don't sit on the fence. Examiners want to see your decision. Say, yes, the strategy should be implemented because, not, it could work, but it might not, depends, maybe. Even if you are unsure, commit to a judgment. Then balance it by saying, however, this depends on whether the business can secure the necessary funding. That way, you show confidence and critical thinking. So, in short, evaluate in context, link your points, don't isolate them, be selective and justify, and most importantly, don't be afraid to take a stance. Do this, and you are not just writing like a student, you are thinking like a strategist, and examiners love that. Alright, we are almost done, but before you go, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment. Do you want a detailed walkthrough for paper 4? Let me know in the comments. If enough of you are interested, I'll make a deep dive into specific question types or even run through a full practice exam with you. Share this with your study group. If you found this video helpful, share it with your friends or study group. The more the merrier. Let's ace this exam together. Subscribe and don't forget to check out my paper 3 video if you haven't already. I have got more tips, tricks and breakdowns coming your way. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. You're going to want to stay ahead of the game. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Let's make sure we all crush paper 4. Bye bye.